Good evening. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Kettering City Council. Today's date is December 6, 2022. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we hire you?
That was awesome.
Very good.
That was awesome.
Beautiful.
Good job.
Okay. We'll have a short invocation. Dear Lord, thank you for all who serve the Kettering community. Give us enthusiasm for our work and wisdom to make the right decisions. May we remain humble and grateful for the opportunity to lead. Guide this council so that we may continue to serve our citizens with integrity and purpose, always remembering to be worthy of the responsibilities entrusted in us by our residents. Amen. I would like to recognize our Miami Valley Communication Council TV operator, Liberty Lord. Wave at us, Liberty. And I believe Carl's helping tonight as well. Mr. Klepaz has an excused absence this evening. And we will move now to approval of the minutes. I'll call on Mrs. Fisher.
Your Honor, I have reviewed the November 22nd council and workshop minutes, as well as the November 29th joint school board minutes, and I do find them in order, and I move for their approval.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. The motion, are there any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall? Yes. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes, okay. We now have proclamations and special presentations. We have a great special presentation today with the presentation of a certificate of recognition to the Altar Boys Golf Team. The boys golf team are the 2022 Division II state champions. And I'd like to call on Mrs. Hall to read the certificate. We'll call on someone. I'm going to go ahead and read that, if it's okay with you. Okay. First off, could we have the boys stand up and come on down here? There you are, hiding. Come on down, right in front of that.
Everybody can see you.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. The City of Kettering is honored to recognize the Altar Boys varsity golf team for their hard-fought and successful 2022 golf season. Winning the 2022 Division II State Championship exemplifies the dedication, hard work, and sportsmanship exhibited by these talented athletes. This achievement has brought distinction and honor to Altar High School and the Kettering community. It is with great pleasure that City Council and the Kettering community congratulates the boys' varsity golf team on this exceptional accomplishment and extends our best wishes for continued success. Presented this 6th day of December 2022. I'm going to come down there now. Who knows what I've got here?
Somebody's going to go over to school.
Whenever you would drive into the city of Kettering, when you enter Kettering, you can see this. Yes. For the school, is that correct?
Not street sign.
It's a street sign, I know, but I think you get one for the.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
That's how we go to school, and then the street signs will go up towards the end. Awesome.
Okay, thanks. As I present it to you, can I learn who each and every one of you are? I believe you are.
Yeah, I am not a clue. My name's Alex Schuster, I'm head coach.
Davis Gokenhauer, I'm a junior. Gray Tabor, I'm a sophomore.
Grant Tabor, senior captain.
TJ Crush, sophomore.
I'm Finn Graw, and I'm a sophomore.
Wow, I
Young
think we're
team.
going to see you back next year. Oh, it's
Pressure's on.
Let me give this to you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
That's it, yeah. Okay, that's it. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Mom to take a picture. Yeah, you know.
Okay. Okay, next we have the pleasure of introducing to you 5 new members of the fire department that are actually being sworn in tonight, even though they've already been working for a few weeks. How long? We're way overdue on swearing you in. So, we won't even ask. We're going to do these individually, I believe. You're going to go first? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Tonight, we're going to do swearing in for the 5 newest members of Kettering Fire Department, and I'll bring them down individually and give you a little bit of information about each of our members. When I call your name, please come down to council chambers. Trenton Phipps. Trent was born and raised in Dayton, Ohio. He's a graduate of Vandalia Butler High School in 2004. He is a second-generation firefighter and has been in the fire service for nearly 10 years. 9 of those served with the Dayton Fire Department. While at Dayton Fire Department, he received multiple awards, including Distinguished Service Award, the Firefighter of the Year from the Montgomery County Fire Chiefs Association, certificates of accommodation, and multiple customer service awards. He currently holds an associate's degree in fire and EMS from Sinclair and is an active pursuance in further education. He's been married for 13 years to his wife, Tasha, and they have 3 boys, 13, 11, and 8, and they're all at a wrestling meet.
Oh.
He enjoys being outside playing sports with his kids, working on cars, and traveling and camping. Next, we'll have Craig Schulte come down. Craig grew up, is it Rushi?
Rushi, yes, sir.
Woo! And now lives in the Dayton area. He's engaged to Destiny and set to get married next year. He has 4 kids together, Ella 7, Stella 6. Is that the Pledge of Allegiance star? Nice. Camille 5 and Jax, who is 5 months old. During his free time, he enjoys spending time with his family and doing just about anything outdoors, such as hunting, fishing, camping. He joined the fire service in 2009, worked part-time for Washington Township Fire Department, Clear Creek Township Fire Department, and West Carrollton Fire Department, where he also served as a volunteer firefighter. Till the spring of 2013, when he became a full-time member of the Dayton Fire Department, and he got his paramedics in 2019. Chad Beekman, I think half the people in this room are for Chad's family. Chad was born and raised in Kettering, Ohio. He's the son of Kenny and Dana Beekman. He's a 2010 graduate of Kettering Fairmont High School. He started his fire service in November 2012, where he was a part-time member at Kettering and Sugar Creek Township. He left Kettering to take an opportunity to be a full-time member at Liberty Township Fire Department in March of 2020. While there, he obtained his paramedic certification. Since then, he was able to come back to the city of Kettering. He's very thankful to be back at Kettering as a career member. He's continuing his education at Sinclair Community College. In his free time, he enjoys going to the lake, going boating, doing home projects, landscape work, and watching and playing sports. He enjoys spending time with his family, friends, and girlfriend, Camille, and their 2 dogs and a potbelly pig.
Oh.
Colin Mellendorf, if you'll come down, please.
Big.
Colin is married to his wife, Kelsey, has 2 sons, Loudon, who's 3 years old, and Brooks, who is 3 months old. He's been in the fire service for 10 years, the previous 7 as a career firefighter for Deerfield Township in Loveland, Ohio. He became interested in becoming a firefighter with his uncle Kirk Mellendorf, who retired from Kettering Fire Department, had one of the best partners in the world, Battalion Chief Brian Beaver. And he is retired from us. It's always been his dream to come back to work for the City of Kettering Fire Department, and he's proud to serve alongside his brother, Austin Mellendorf, who's stationed at 34 on 1st Platoon, and looks forward to working for him in the department for 20-plus years, next 20-plus years. Nathan Silver. Nate's been in public service since 2010, starting at Moorfield Township, serving as a dispatcher, spent over 8 years at Springfield City Fire Department, serving on various engine, ladder, and rescue companies. He's proud to have served with many great people over the years, building his experience and knowledge. He's accompanied by his wife, Maria, and his 2 sons, Isaiah and Daniel. He enjoys spending time cultivating the passions of his children through critical thinking, physical fitness, and music. Firefighter Paramedic Silver is humbled to join the awesome culture at Kettering Fire Department and finish his career serving his fellow co-workers and the citizens of Kettering. Now, Mayor Lehner, if you would please come down and swear in the newest members of our department.
Thank you. Happy to do it.
Thank you.
We're going to do it as a group, and if appropriate, this. I, please raise your hand. I, state your name. Pledge to serve the citizens of Kettering faithfully. And will uphold all of the laws, regulations, and directives. That govern me in the performance of my duties. I will bear true allegiance to my country. My city and my department. And will do the best to the best of my ability to carry out my responsibilities as a Kettering firefighter.
To the best of my abilities.
Yeah. Too many words. Too many words.
I told you.
You gotta give them
Short and
more
choppy.
To the best of my ability. Carry out my responsibilities as a Kettering firefighter.
Carry out responsibilities as a Kettering firefighter.
Get a good picture.
Sorry. If we could have the family members come down and we'll pin the badge, please. One second, I will get it all together, and then we'll get a couple more pictures. Then we'll let the golf team have their 5 more minutes. Okay, you may all pin the badge. I'm gonna get out of the way.
Oh, there's frogs on them.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Come on, golf team. Whisper to them they can leave after this, too, so they know. Mostly. They're very local. The mayor doesn't realize we're on TV. Does she? Read your boring script. What? Read your boring script.
Okay.
We have some-
Hey, Shana, remember her name. So the little girl, she's escaped already. Oh, the one that said the Pledge of Allegiance. When we need someone to say the pledge, someone call her up. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll resume the meeting. There are no public hearings this evening. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address council, however, on a legislative issue, you may come down at this point. If not, did you want to speak?
On legislation.
Okay, before you speak, I need to say a few words. Anyone wishing to speak before council with comments or new information about the legislation on tonight's agenda may do so at this time. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Speakers must state their name and address. Comments should be addressed to council. If you have comments that are not about the legislation on tonight's agenda, there will be an opportunity for those to be heard later in the meeting. Did you still wish to speak at this time? Okay, come to the... Okay.
Hi, my name's Joe Overholzer. I live at 2924 Acorn Drive. And what I wanted to discuss was the curb, sidewalk, and drive approach repair program. Wasn't aware of this until recently. My tenant in the Newcomb Knolls neighborhood said she got a letter about the repairs that are happening next year.
It's not on the agenda. Excuse me, sir. It appears that what you're talking about is not on tonight's agenda. If you would like to hold those comments to the end of the meeting, we would give you an opportunity.
I thought budget issues were on the agenda tonight. Not
No,
budget.
no.
Okay. All right.
There's some items that are impact, but.
Talk it in the
but
meeting.
please
Okay.
stay here, and if we take it out of order, it doesn't count. So,
Okay.
so if you wouldn't mind waiting. Thank you very much. We'll now move to ordinances and second reading.
Your Honor,
Mrs. Fisher?
Your Honor, I do have an ordinance to enact the Chapter 949 of the codified ordinances regarding the public tree preservation. It is requested by the Planning and Development Department, and I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, that will be covered by Tom. Where's Tom? Over there.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is ordinance in second reading for the the tree ordinance for the city of Kettering. This ordinance codifies tree preservation and tree planting standards and best practices for the city within the public right-of-way and city parks. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Robillard? Okay, seeing none, call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes. Okay. We will now move to resolutions.
Your
None.
Honor, the resolution authorizing the city manager to contract for emergency home repair services with Miami Valley Community Action Partnership. The request is from Planning and Development Department, and the estimated cost is $75,000, and the funds available are $75,000. I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Robillard.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is to allow us to enter into a contract with Miami Valley Community Action Partnership, or CAP as they are known within the region. They will provide emergency home repair services to Kettering's low and moderate income residents. The proposal will serve up to 8 clients, and the average cost is about $8,000 per client. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions?
Yep.
Mrs. Hall.
Have these funds, this amount of funds, traditionally what's needed every year?
Yes, it is. We typically use about that much. If we need more, then we can reprogram more funds, but this is about usually what it takes.
And how is it advertised that these are available?
I don't know exactly the details of where we advertise it. I'll be happy to get back with you on that.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to contract with South Community, Inc. for crisis intervention program support services. I want to turn. Estimated cost is just under $69,000 and is requested by the police department.
Move for approval.
Move for
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Chief Protzman.
Thank you, Your Honor. This money is for funding for our crisis intervention specialist. It's a program that I think you've heard me and others throughout the city and community speak so highly of. So we greatly appreciate the partnership we have with South Community, and it is budgeted for $70,000. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution, and I apologize. Give me just a moment. I apologize. Okay. I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a 5-year tax sharing agreement with the Kettering City School District. This is being requested by the city manager's office. Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Schwederman.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a renewal of a tax sharing agreement that we've had with the Kettering Public Schools or Kettering Board of Education for many years, if not decades. The agreement is basically a tax sharing agreement in relationship to enterprise zone agreements that the city has or has had. Currently, the city does not have any enterprise zone agreements, so we are not actively sharing tax revenue with the school district at this time. However, we would like to continue our relationship with the school district and this agreement so that if a future enterprise zone agreement comes to light, we already have our working parameters in place. So it's another good example of our cooperation with the schools and their cooperation with us. And this will be a 5-year renewal. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Schwederman? Okay, seeing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution directing the Finance Director to commit an additional $500,000 of the general fund balance to be expended for economic development purposes effective January 1, 2023, requested by the Finance Department. I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Schwederman.
Thank you, Your Honor. This will allow us tonight, via this resolution, to continue our past practice of allocating $500,000 per year to our economic development funding. program. We discussed this fund earlier tonight in workshop. Each year we've allocated $500,000, and then we utilize those funds throughout the year for economic development or other programs that fit the parameters. And we've been doing this for about 10 years now. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Schwederman? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have an ordinance to provide for the table of organization, position classification plan, compensation plan, and pay schedules and rules and regulations pertaining to the conditions of work and supplemental benefits for the employees of the City of Kettering, Ohio, and to repeal ordinance number 4372-21. It is requested by the Human Resources Department, and this is first reading.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Schwederman.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is essentially our 2023 personnel ordinance that will guide our compensation for employees through 2023. The ordinance's main elements, I'll just go over a few of them. The first is the pay structure for 2023. Compensation will be increased by 2.25%. This is the same rate that our already negotiated union agreements have as well for this calendar year of 2023. A couple of other items in this ordinance. We are amending some of the departmental staffing levels to reflect changes that we have made or will be making. For example, in our administrative systems department during 2022, we converted some part-time positions to a regular full-time position, and this change to the ordinance for 2023 will indicate that. Also in our planning and development department, we have changed the pay grade on our from a clerk to a planning and development technician. In our public safety department, specifically a public safety dispatch, we will be adding a civilian dispatch position. As you know, we have allocated or are currently recruiting 2 civilian dispatchers for our dispatch operation. One of them is already included in the 2022 ordinance. The other one will be added to the 2023 ordinance. In our public service department, we are modifying our facilities division staffing level for building attendants, increasing that from 12 full-time attendants to 13. This was done while removing some part-time positions. Our vehicle maintenance center will be eliminating a regular full-time supervisor position, and we'll be doing some restructuring in that division to create a lead equipment mechanic with our existing personnel. We've also, in our Parks and Recreation Department, we'll convert a part-time position to a full-time position in the Rosewood Arts Center division. Lastly, we will amend Section 208, which is the section that relates to the city manager and assistant city manager, to reflect the 2023 staffing of those positions. The effective date, for all intents and purposes for us, is we will have a first reading tonight, a second reading on December 13th, so that this ordinance will be in place and effective in time for the first paycheck issued in January, which will be Friday, January 6th. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. This is one of the very last times you have to ask Mr. Schwederman a question. So don't waste the opportunity. Anyone have anything? Okay, see none. That completes the reading of the first reading. We now have certifications and petitions, and I'd like to call on Shauna Kaczynski to read any that we might have.
Your Honor, we do not have any certifications or petitions this evening.
Okay. We will then move on to the manager's report, community update.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have a few items for you tonight for the community update. This first one is really time sensitive as the enrollment period for Medicare ends this week. Residents can talk to our senior services coordinator at 296-3330. We are cruising right along in leaf pickup. Earlier today, we were notified we're no longer in 11 and we're moving into 1 and 2. So we're back at the final round of leaf pickup starting in our first districts. We should move through them very quickly. Could just be another week or so that we'll be out collecting leaves in a regular rotation. So you can call our leaf hotline at 296-2472 if you have any questions. The Holiday Tour of Lights program is continuing, and you have until December 19th to submit a house to be in the program. That's being run by our volunteer office at 296-2433. Our December council meetings are a little different. Obviously, we're meeting on the first Tuesday tonight, and we'll meet again next Tuesday on December the 13th. We'll have a regularly scheduled workshop at 6 p.m. and a council meeting at 7:30. And if you would like to join us at our annual Christmas Day gathering at Poland Farm, it will once again be held at Poland Farm on Christmas Day from 1 to 4. It's a great event supported by our volunteers for the community. And Your Honor, I believe that's all I have for you this evening. I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you very much. Again. We'll now move on to, gentlemen, you may now come down. Anyone who wishes to come speak before City Council, please come down to the podium. Each speaker will have a 5-minute limit. Speakers are asked to state their name and address. You've already done that. Is there anyone who would like to speak for City Council? We know there is. Come on up to the...
All right. Hello again. My name is Joe Verholzer. I live at 2924 Acorn Drive. What I wanted to discuss about was the neighborhood my rental property is in Newcomb Knolls, though. It's recently notified of it's called a curb, sidewalk, and drive approach repair program that I previously had been unaware of. I've lived in Kettering for about 18 years now. I lived at the rental property for about 16 years. So anyway, my tenant told me she got a letter about sidewalk repair, and I was like, okay, don't worry about it. She said you'll send you a bill or something. I was like, okay. So anyway, then I found out from a neighbor across the street from there, they were informed they were getting an estimated bill of what's going to be $5,000 for the repair next year for their curb and sidewalk repairs. So anyway, my tenant didn't have the letter anymore, so I had to contact the engineering department. Discovered my estimated bill is going to be about $2,500. So anyway, my concern is not for me so much. Not particularly happy about paying $2,500, but it's not, I can pay the $2,500 and it's a rental property. I raise the rent if I need or want to. But my concern is that this may be an undue burden to other people in the neighborhood with the current state of the economy. We're just out of COVID situation, which hurt a lot of people financially. We're experiencing high inflation levels, and bad and high inflation, we have issues with interest rates being raised and loans, which may cause the economy to hurt. So anyway, my concern is that this may hurt my tenant if I need to raise the rent, other homeowners and other tenants in the neighborhood. And there are a lot of rental properties in the Newcomb Knolls neighborhood. So anyway, it's just a concern I wanted to address, and I had some potential solutions. Learned at the workshop today that apparently there's we've had the number right, about $1 million of ARPA funds that are not being used and could be used for anything for the public good. So that's a suggestion I have, is to consider using some of those funds to help offset those costs. Possibly delay the repairs, or do less repairs. Honestly, I from what I understand on the program, the idea is safety and beautification of the neighborhood, which I appreciate those efforts. I want, especially the safety aspect. If there's anything unsafe, I do agree it needs to be fixed, and whether or not it's the owner's responsibility, I suppose, can be discussed. I think legally, of course, it's it's not wrong, but you don't have a lot of choice over a situation, from what I understand, whether you fix it or not. So beautification, that aspect of it, I think is a bit subjective. I do know my property, I don't feel it's unsafe. There's like one section of the sidewalk that's a little uneven. It was like that 18 years ago when I bought the house. I raised 4 kids there. There's a lot of kids in the neighborhood. I don't recall anybody ever getting injured on it. So anyway, that's really all I had. I wanted to address those concerns and bring it to your attention that this may be a financial burden on some of the residents in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing an issue before us that we hear something about on a pretty regular basis every year when those notices go out. I would like to just call on the city manager for a second, see if he has any comments. Otherwise, also would invite you to meet with staff to discuss some of your ideas as to what we could do. Mr. Schwederman.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. As Mr. Overholzer has already kind of indicated, it is an assessment area for a project where we're doing concrete repair, curb, gutter, sidewalk type program. Steve and I actually were in that neighborhood last week as well. So we are moving forward with programs, and we're doing programs, and the anticipation for this one would be a 2023 project as budgeted in our capital improvement program. Following the guidelines that we've shared with and had updated by City Council, we have notified residents that live in those areas ahead of time to give them some options. We go out and we mark with paint, which items are looking to be replaced. And then we send out these assessment letters, which are estimates of assessment, and gives the homeowner the time, if they so choose, they could hire their own contractor for those repairs. If they don't choose to do that, then our contract will take care of the project. We will do the project. Then after the project is done, we will have what is a final assessment, which may be a lower number than the estimate, could be a different number than the estimate for whatever reasons that happen in the field. And that number doesn't really become available until, at this point, it would be 2024. And then the decision is made by the resident on whether how they would like to pay. They can pay by cash, by coming to the finance department. If they choose not to do that, then that assessment is added to their property tax bill, and then depending, but up to 10 years to pay off the balance. And so what I've just described is the typical assessment program. And as I mentioned, we were out there last week. It's been many years, put it in a neighborhood of over 30, since we've done some of the concrete repair in that particular neighborhood. So it has been budgeted, and we're moving forward with the program. This is the start of that process with the estimated assessment letters. Be happy to chat with Mr. Overholzer about his particular property or his ideas, but that's the general scope of that particular project.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything further? Okay, thank you. We will now move on to City Council's report, and I'll call on Mrs. Fisher to start.
Well, Your Honor, we've had a busy couple of weeks with lots of ribbon cuttings, but I would say I'm going to highlight 2 events that are actually going on this week. The Kettering Giving Tree is, I helped pick up the gifts and help sort the gifts today. 580 children will receive very nice gifts from those giving trees. And likewise, this coming weekend, the Neighbor to Neighbor Food Pantry is serving 150 families with Christmas baskets, and of those 150 families, there'll be another 220 children that will receive gifts. And of the 80 adult-only households, they're mainly, 50% of those are from our seniors that are in our community. So why am I bringing all this up? Christmas is in full swing. And I will say I'm proud to be in the city of Kettering, and we have wonderful residents who are giving, and to those that cannot afford. And so I really appreciate people stepping up. It's really, really an awesome thing to share.
Thank you. Mrs. Hall.
Enjoyed the mayor's tree lighting this week. There was lots of smiles and laughing and barking. It's a great event for our community. really loved the lights and frays in the park, and just a good time. Also, we had our joint meeting last week, I think it was, with the school board, and it's really wonderful that we get to enjoy a great relationship with our school here at the city, and of the many amazing things that were talked about that Kettering City Schools is doing that is so impressive. They also have $900,000 in school safety grants that are being used for more security cameras and automatic door locks and visitor badge systems, and really happy to see that that's happening, but also, you know, sad that that's increasingly a necessity for our schools. And please pray for our students and our schools, for the safety of our kids, and glad that extra money is going towards the schools. Lastly, just want to again say what a great leaf collection program we have as it's drawing to a close. I was at a Slavic Christmas party in Dayton this weekend, and I was sitting next to somebody who happened to be from Kettering. They were saying how it's their favorite thing about the city. And I have to agree, I remember living in most other cities and suffering through with the rest of the poor souls who have to bag their leaves this time of year. And I don't miss that. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Scott.
I just want to add my congratulations to our new 5 firefighters that were sworn in. These folks are true heroes, and we all hope we never have to use their services, but if we do, we know they're top notch. Tomorrow being December 7th, I think most people would know that was one of the most consequential dates in the 20th century. So it was 81 years ago for Pearl Harbor. And that was the generation, which is called the Greatest Generation, men and women, who worked the factories, who went in the service, and when they came back home, they were part of the reason Van Buren Township, now Kettering, experienced explosive growth. So we owe a debt of gratitude to them, including all us baby boomers who were their children. So, and this generation, there are very few of them left anymore. So if we see someone from that age bracket or any gentleman or lady who served in the military, we owe them a sincere debt of gratitude.
Thank you very much. Lisa?
We have a Leadership Academy member present tonight. Just want to thank you for coming. Appreciate you being here. The Board of Community Relations is bringing the Undesign the Red Line exhibit to the auditorium at Fairmont High School over MLK weekend in January. And we are looking for volunteers to help as guides through the exhibit. If you're interested, please contact the volunteer office. I believe we have at least one council member considering volunteering. So we hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Duke?
Thank you, Your
We had
Honor.
a birthday yesterday. But we won't say what one.
Thank you, Your Honor. And in addition to all the events that have been talked about, we had 2 ribbon cuttings this past week. One, we had the opportunity to welcome the new City Barbecue on Dorothy Lane, right across from Archer's, right in that area. It was the old donut shop, for those folks that remember that. City Barbecue is always welcome in Kettering. As we said at that time, we don't like to go down to Centerville and have barbecue, so now we can have it right here in town. So we're very happy that they are open, and the food was terrific. The second ribbon cutting we had was with Flying Ace Car Wash, which is located also on Dorothy Lane. I'm scanning for the address, and they're at 1335 East Dorothy Lane. It's just a little bit west of Wilmington Pike. This is a new car wash to our community, and what was very special about this ribbon cutting is John Roush, the creator of Flying Ace Car Washes. This is the 11th, by the way, in the greater Dayton area. But when they open a car wash, they really try to step up and talk to us about how they want to be a member of this community and how they value their partnership with this community. And so, from now until December the 11th. So you've got roughly 5 days to go to the car wash, and for a small monetary donation, and they're suggesting $5, that's all, they will do a super value car wash for your car for just that $5, with the money going to Choices, which is a program that we have here in Kettering that really works with families to help them during troubled times. Ashley Pester, the development director of Choices, was at the ribbon cutting, partnering with a Flying Ace. So if you get a chance, if you want a really good car wash, get out there. You've got 5 days to do it. Cost you $5. Get a terrific car wash. Welcome them to this community. Again, 1335 East Dorothy Lane. And that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Duke. I've got a few items. I also attended the Flying Aces car wash and plan on getting my car cleaned up here soon. The City Barbecue served a wonderful meal, as always, and it's great to have them in Kettering. We don't have to drive to Centerville anymore. One of the highlights of the year always is the Festival of Trees with the mayor's lighting of the Christmas tree. I just wanted to share one fact with you that I think is really kind of awesome. The park department, which is who hangs the ornaments up, string 9 miles worth of lights when they prepare for this event. And that's just absolutely incredible. One more, I don't know if they do that in overtime or whatever, but the Parks Department does it. Yes, it is the Parks Department. And I'm sure the Kettering police are close at hand helping out. One never knows. Okay. Then finally, I want to say, Mrs. Fisher referred to the number of volunteers. And I do think the fact that this is a community that really reaches out to its citizens in so many ways. The number of kids that are getting fed, the number of gifts that are being put together. I'd like to mention one other contribution that people in this area make. Tomorrow, I'm going to go to the Community Tissue Center, which is located in Kettering, and they are going to be celebrating 1 million skin grafts that they have performed. They have become the largest skin graft company in the world. And that's fueled by donations. That's where they get. And the gifts of organs, the gifts of skin, the gifts of blood are all really life-saving for so many people. And so I want to say a big thank you to those who have thought of giving part of themselves when they have that opportunity. With that concludes.
Just a reminder, citizens can do that when they renew their driver's license.
Right.
I just did mine this week, and they asked me specifically, do you choose, I'm on there, and they say, do you want to continue being an organ and tissue donor? So please, when you renew your driver's license, that's the easiest way to become an organ and tissue donor.
Right.
Thanks. I just wanted to share.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. With that, being no further business come before City Council, our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting will be December 13th, 2022, and this meeting is adjourned.